Hello, namaste. Welcome to Dave's Hammer Cell. This is the weekly flagship program of Indigenous television. In this television show, I try to bring the voices of Indigenous peoples from across the globe and try to connect their success stories and also their lesson learned with one another. Sometimes I conduct face-to-face interview and sometimes I do online video conferences and discuss on various contemporary issues that is affecting indigenous peoples. But today I'm going to talk about the education, the importance of educations, with a distinguished guest who is from Netherlands, who runs a foundations that mostly works with the children's books and the education of children. And the foundation's name is Stichting Thang. And I have a guest. She is a chairperson, chairman of this foundations. Let me welcome to the show.
Namaste. Thank you for invitation, and I'm pleased to hear.
So we have a chairman or chairperson
Yeah.
from Stitching Thang. Her name is Marleen Fischer.
Yeah.
Could you introduce yourself, Marleen, first?
I'm a woman from the Netherlands who has a lot of dreams for Nepal, especially for the children, because I'm coming for 12 years in Nepal and I visit a lot of schools at that time, and I saw always the same: only education, education, education. No, nothing creative. And then I go back to the Netherlands and raised my own foundation and was looking for sponsors and the concept. And the concept is now we come to Nepal and we visit, we try to find schools not in the city. They have a lot of space to other, but children in how do you say, remote areas, there's nothing. They have no books, only education books. And we try to bring book bags filled up with 50 children books, and we have that in 3 levels. And we try to convince the principals and the teachers, read with your children, because it is very important a child has a fantasy world. When you have no television or no YouTube or nothing, the world is very small. But when you have a nice children book, you can dream, your own dream. And that's very important for children. Because when they're growing up, I see that children who have read a lot in their youth, mostly they have more in their brain to do this, not only to think like this way. That's what we are doing and try to do, and I bring the last 2 years children book writers from the Netherlands and illustrators to connect them. I want connection with Nepali writers, illustrator, and they do, this year Mark Jansen, we did 2 children books, a translation from English to Nepali. And the book from Mark, he is the mentor now from a Nepali young woman. He's illustrating and he will follow her for 1 year. So we have the hope when we do this more times, then the Nepali illustrators and children book writers have a certain strength. They are strong and say, okay, now I'm somebody, and we publish probably that book, and we hope that when they are successful, they train their own people. That's what I want. Only a lot of connection and work together with principals, teachers. That's very important.
Oh, that is the stitching fund, right?
Yeah.
Basically, the work that you did. But you told me in the background as well that the Stitching Thang,
Yeah.
the foundations,
Yeah.
which basically publishes book, which are fun,
Yeah.
for the children, right?
Yeah.
Why that sort of book? I mean, why do you focus for the children, and why should they read books as a fun, taking fun?
I think every child have the right to connect with a dream world. When you read a children book, that's completely different from an education book, and it can make your own dream world, and that's important. Because when you have only education, 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 that's a little bit tricky for children.
Oh, you mean as you visited schools in Nepal that you found teachers or schools are providing only education, so every time education,
Only.
not the extracurricular activities or not a kind of fun activities for children. You mean that?
Less. They do, but less. There's one school we visit in May. That is a school in nearby Pokhara, Amagar, and that school is the first school I saw in Nepal that had on Friday free of bag. They do on Friday only reading, make music, make drawing, tell stories, and that's very important because I asked the teacher, why do you do this? And she said, it was a woman as principal, if the children Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday work hard, this is the award at the end of the week. And she said, she told me it works. The education program is full up. They are just in time in the levels, but the day free, that's the whole week. Oh, then we can do this and this and this, and that's important.
Not only education, besides education, extracurricular activities like music, even let's say games, right? Storytelling is also important. You mean why is it? I mean, for the students to be creative, I think they need it. But education is also important.
Yeah.
But the system,
it must be in balance. In my country, this is really in balance. But every day. The education program is still 2, and 1.5 hours is everyday education in drawing, singing, make music, tell stories, and reading. It's normal in every school. And that's important for children. Let's go back in timeline. What your grandfather, what is he doing with you as you were small? Maybe storytelling.
Oh yeah? At night, huh?
Yeah.
He used to tell the stories. But I never listened that my father was telling me.
Why not?
Not even a teacher was telling me a story. I can remember one teacher was in a school. And so that means you mean the teachers, grandparents, parents need to tell the stories to their children to learn. Teachers need to tell.
That's
you mean
important.
That is it?
That is really important.
Why is that important? Why?
So, in stories, mostly there is a little piece of, for example, Linda, that is the children writer in this program, she makes a book, The Boy and the Whale. But in the story, there is a little background. Is the boy sad? Is he happy? Why is he happy? The child must make their own story, because the boy was first lonely in the boat. After the boat was, he makes a friend with a whale. The whale was in the water and the boy feels sad, lonely, I have nobody to talk and to play. And then suddenly the whale comes back, and it's a happy ending story, but it must not always a happy ending story. The life is not a happy ending story. That's reality. You know better as me.
Sure.
And that's important. Children have a dream world, and they always thinking the grass. We told in my country the grass is greener by the neighbors, but that's not true.
Isn't that the
The
point?
grass is in your country even so green. When we ask in schools to the children, what will you, when you are growing up, what will your profession? I hear everything the same. Teacher, nurse, to the army, professor, doctor. But I hear, so less. I want to be art, I want to be a writer, I want to be an illustrator. But that's, I think that has to do with the parents who push the children so very high. It's nice when you are educated, I'm educated, but not everyone has the level to be educated. And for that child, it's even important he can his own imagine, or in every child they sit in every child and mind is a individual, I think.
So that means so that as you first, when was your first time that why you was the reason? I mean, why did you come to Nepal to visit? Do
I
you
visit
remember?
Nepal, yeah, for sure. 12 years ago. And I was, at that time, I'm dentist. I come from the dentist background, and I was visiting a lot of schools in Mustang, and I did brush programs, and I saw every day in all the schools the same. Only writing like this, 1 and 1 is 3. Yeah, we call this like this. But I saw in maybe one school of the 10 that was a teacher or
Yeah, you mentioned
yeah,
about the Pokharas, that the
yeah,
schools, so that you made your mind. There must be something we
yeah,
need to do it, so
yeah,
that you founded an organizations, and right. So you're trying to connect with the writers in
yeah,
Nepal and writers in
yeah, yeah.
Netherlands, and also promoting the extracurricular activities. You mean, right? Could you tell me? You gave me the example of the school nearby the Pokhara. You
Yeah.
also talked about the Mustang, and what are the priorities and where you are promoting this sort of education, a kind of extracurricular activities. Which part of Nepal? It is not possible to
Uh,
reach all.
no, that's not possible.
Mhm.
That's impossible. We have a big project in Java, 23 schools. We have 10 schools in neighborhood of Shetwan, Sohara. This is in cooperation with another foundation. And we have one library in Toka. We have one project in Lamjung. I also visit Galang. And Tukuche in Mustang, I visit this year as a follow-up, but they can manage their own. They have a new support from the government. Book bags were there in every school. And okay, I said, that's what I want. I go out this and look for new. When our job is finished and the school is, is going on, it's not necessary I do every year the follow-up. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah.
We have a lot of applies.
Mhm.
Come to our school, come to us. Can you bring the writers? Can you bring the illustrators? But we must select. And when they are doing well, we do a step back. That's necessary. A lot of NGOs and other projects, they spend years and years in investment. And what's the result?
As you work with the children's book and the in Nepal, even though there are school libraries, I also have visited some of the libraries, but there are not books. I don't see that many books which are suitable for children, and I guess there are very few writers for the children's books, right? What is your observation from outside when you came to Nepal and started looking books and supplying
It's
books?
good that you mentioned this, because when we visit schools, I always ask, is there a library in your school? Sometimes they say, yeah. And I say, can I see? And then, panic. The key is locked. That's not a library. A library must open door for every child can go in and out to take the books. And then when we see it's a lot of education. For example, I give you a good, can show you how I find this. I took 10 children to a bookstore. They were never in a bookstore. I give them all 10, 30 euro. And I say you may select children books by your own. It was the level from this to this. It doesn't work. They all came with education, encyclopedia, and science. And I said, that's not a children book. But they are not used to this kind of books. And I can understand. And then I said, okay, I help you. Look, this is a children book for your age. For example, Harry Potter. It's famous. The children here also know that. And I say, you can buy this book. Really? And the value of a children book that is not normal in. I see a lot of teachers, principals like this. And I say, oh, be careful. This book is made by a children book writer and an illustrator. They spent mostly a year to create this book. And you do this? Oh no, don't do that. If you do as adult this, or as teacher, the children also do this. But be careful. It's a treasure. It should be a treasure. So that's a little bit what we try to spread out, and I think it works.
So I want to take some lessons from Netherlands and Denmark. Maybe that is your neighboring countries, and you have visited anyway. But Netherlands, how is the situation, the status of children's book there? So libraries, as you said, when you visited Nepal, there is that side, so that we can also learn something from Netherlands, right?
Yeah.
What is the system of children's books, and what is the market?
We have a very high level, really. I can say this because I did a lot of visits in other countries. This year I invite Rajiv from Catalaya. He's a publisher. We cooperate with him. And I told to him, I will invite you, but in the week of the Children's Book Week. We have 1 week each year, and all the awards, all the children buy books, all the children, it's a big event in the Netherlands. And I say, when you come to the Netherlands in this week, I will show you how we do that. For example, I have grandchildren, and my grandchildren, it's normal to go to the library, but my granddaughter told me, Grandma, I will also buy a book. It's for me. When it is a very special book, they want to buy it, not only borrow. But the libraries, the children's library is free till 18. Nothing cost. The government pays this. And we have a lot of bookstores, and in schools are libraries. Even in my home, on the outside of my home, I have a box with children books, and the children who pass by can take out a book, read it, and put it back. And it is used a lot.
So in Nepal, you already spent about 12 years visiting schools, meeting with the writers, illustrators, publishers, and if you have to give some sort of suggestion to improve children's education kind, right? What that be? How school teachers or schools have to, how should they give a priority for children, and also the books, and how can we improve? I mean, our education system can be improved.
I think there is coming a new generation of teachers in Nepal. The older teachers, I can understand that. I told to a principal in Japa, he asked me, how much money you give? And I said, have I anything said about money? I give you my hands. Book bags, books, we will try to help you. But at that time I realized, oh, he is from the older generation, and I asked him, what's your age? And he told me, and I said, I'm 10 years older as you. and I fly to Nepal to give you new ideas, new impulse, make you enthusiastic. And I told him, I can imagine that you not involved in this, but give the young teachers the chance to do this. When he is not give in his channel daily the permission to read with children, it doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did it work later on?
Yeah.
When the young teachers took it.
I told
what
him,
result? Okay.
when you want in my program, we do it like this. And I said to him, don't give me now the answer. You have 1 week. I'm 1 week in this area. You can call me. But we go out of the school. I was in the car and he phoned and he said, I want in the program. And that's what I want. Not only give and give and give. When they do nothing with it, it's lost money.
So what was the result after your investment and after many?
The result is that we have a lot of contacts. He gives follow-ups. They constantly ask, come back, teach our train our teachers, help us with give us the hand and the tools, and we are willing that. That's okay.
No, you have been giving. I mean, that is. I mean, they are requesting you more trainings, whatever. But what is the result for the children? I mean,
the result is that in the school there is another flow, huh? A different flow, not only education. Okay. The children know now at that time when the book bag is in the school, in the class, they know, oh, we can take this, we can read this. And sometimes they ask, can I take it at home? Okay, when you bring it back, it's allowed. And maybe in the future we can, that is also good to mention, we donate the book bags, and it is 150 children titles. 3 levels, huh? 1 book bag 50, to second level 50, and third level also 50. That's 150 titles. We refresh them every year. In 5 years, they have 750 titles. They have a small library.
For the school which does not have a library, they have a library now. Yeah. Children, but in Nepal, the children they don't have a habit of reading books, extracurricular activities. Have you ever sensed? Have you ever observed?
Yeah, because we do a contest. Children are they want. Now at the school, we had a private school. He asked me to cooperate with him, and I said, no, that's not our work field. I don't, nothing on. And then he asked me again, will you cooperate? Can you give a workshop, writing, illustrating, and then 5 months ago, I was also in Nepal, and we met each other, and I asked him, what have you to offer? Because you are a private school. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, okay, when your school gives my foundation book bags, so I can give that book bag to the government school, then I come to your school. And he said, oh, I must discuss this with the parents, with the staff. And I said, okay, ring me. If no, okay, we are good friends, but I do nothing on the school. If yes, I'm happy. And he did.
Mm-hmm. And he donated?
He donated, and we did a 2 days program, and we sent children books with DRL from the Netherlands to his school without text, and the children made their own stories in it. We did a program in drawing. We did also we select a child ambassador at that school. That was also a competition, and that's what I want.
So what is your future plan now? It's already let's say 12 years. Yeah. And this year I saw that you were so active bringing the illustrator here, famous illustrator, winner of the, prize winner here. Mm-hmm. You visited many areas in Kathmandu, in Nepal, across the Nepal. What is your future plan now?
My future plan is
In coming days, huh?
In the coming days.
Uh-huh.
Now in the coming days?
Yes, I mean this year, coming year.
Okay, I come back with new illustrators, new writers, refresh. Only Mark, he is the ambassador of our foundation. He comes every year. And he brings every year, we have an agreement with the publisher, with Katalaya. Every year is printed in Nepali, a children's book of Mark, a translation. And my hope is in the future, a lot of schools are talking about, oh, Foundation Thang. They do it like this way. And I'm always a little bit talk with the government. Come, help me together to do this. It's for your children, not my children. And they are willing.
And in
we make a lot of progress.
So government has provided education at least for free, started providing libraries, but I think that is, in somewhere it worked, somewhere it has not worked, and there's still a lot of things to do it. At last, I want to ask you, if you have to say anything else about the importance of education for children or investment for the children, if you have something to add on.
My opinion is that the government gives the money to the schools. They can free spend. They get money for children's books, every school, from the government, but they don't spend it for children's books. And when the government makes another mindset and say, okay, we don't give the money for children's books to the school, they can order with a big publisher. You can connect 5 publishers. It's not only one who has the profit. In the Netherlands it's the same. We have 10 publishers, and they spread out all the books in the schools. Give them all the profit, but not the principal the profit. Because the principal, and I can imagine, he has other priorities. He wants a computer, he wants a good toilet, but not a book. And that's what I try to change. If it works, I hope so. Let's see in years. Maybe in 2-3 years I sit here and I say, we did it.
Thank you so much, Marleen, for your time and esteemed thoughts.
Okay. I'm very grateful that you want to listen to our dream here in Nepal. Thank you.
Thank you, Marleen. So we have come to the end of the show, and if you have any queries or feedback, you can reach me at indigenous-television@gmail.com. Next week, I will come with a new guest to discuss a new topic or issues. And till then, have a good day. Bye-bye.